Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're going to unpack a puzzle, one that stretches back 40 years, connecting the ghost buildings of 1980s Detroit with, believe it or not, the world of artificial intelligence. It's really the story of one innovator, Keith DeCesare, and a single incredibly powerful idea.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like this setup to a riddle, doesn't it? But the answer isn't a punchline. It's actually a really powerful, consistent mission that shows how one single idea can evolve over decades to meet the challenges of a totally different world.
Okay, so on one hand, you have this incredibly forward-thinking project. The iGentics AI curriculum is all about democratizing access to technology. It's giving kids in communities that don't have a lot of resources the tools they need to be creators, not just consumers, in this new AI-powered reality we're all living in.
And then, on the complete other side of things, you have this really grassroots conservation effort. The Inwood Butterfly Sanctuary isn't just about saving a species. It's about bringing urban spaces back to life and connecting kids with the natural world, right there in their own neighborhood.
So how on earth do you connect these dots? Well, the common thread wasn't woven with computer code or butterfly nets. Nope, it was put together with wheat paste and a camera 40 years ago on the streets of a city in crisis. This is a story about art, activism, and a relentless fight to make the invisible visible.
All right, so let's go back to the 1980s. A young artist named Keith Piaseczny, who now goes by DeCesare, co-founded the Urban Center for Photography. And their whole goal was to confront the crisis of urban decay head-on, not from inside some safe, clean gallery, but right out there on the streets.
Their mission, which they called Demolished by Neglect, was at its core humanitarian. They wanted to show everyone that behind every single crumbling building and abandoned lot, there was a human story, a family that lost their home, a community that was forgotten. This was never just about buildings. It was about people.
So what they did was, well, it was groundbreaking. They pioneered this powerful form of what we'd now call guerrilla art. They pasted these enormous, haunting photographs, portraits of mothers, children, residents, right onto the very buildings that had come to symbolize the city's neglect. It forced anyone walking by to look up and confront the human faces of the crisis.
But as you can probably guess, this kind of radical act of making the invisible visible, well, it didn't sit well with everyone. The project's raw honesty quickly got the attention of the city's political machine, which, was trying to sell a very different image of Detroit to the world.
So the Detroit Arts Council, which had given them a small grant, actually threatened to take the money back. They accused the artists of Detroit bashing and creating visual pollution. They basically said the project was an eyesore that was hurting the city's reputation. It really became this classic showdown, art telling the truth versus politics trying to control the image.
Okay, and this is the pivotal moment. Instead of backing down when they were threatened with censorship, DeCesare and his colleagues saw an opening, a huge strategic opportunity. They realized the city trying to silence them was an even more powerful story than the one they were already telling. They basically engineered what was, for the 1980s, a viral media moment. I mean, think about it. This is before the internet. By publicizing the censorship threat, they got national coverage from huge outlets. All of a sudden, their message about urban decay wasn't just on the streets of Detroit. It was being talked about all across the country. They reached a massive audience that a simple gallery show never ever could have.
And this brings us right back to the heart of our puzzle. The principles that were forged in that fight, using whatever tools you have to give a voice to the voiceless and challenging the systems of power, that became the blueprint for everything that came next. Those exact same principles are guiding DeCesare's work right now today.
This chart just lays it out so perfectly. You can see the clear line connecting everything. Back in the 80s, the invisible problem was the human cost of a broken system, and the tool was a camera. Today, an invisible problem is the educational gap in this new AI-driven world, and the tool is a free curriculum. The problem changes, the tools evolve, but the mission, that stays exactly the same.
And get this, that fight against censorship, it's back, but with a totally 21st century twist. When Meta's AI algorithm started mistakenly blocking links to his butterfly sanctuary, flagging them as spam, he didn't just file a complaint. He launched the hashtag censorship challenge, turning the algorithm's mistake into a public campaign against digital censorship. It's an echo of his stand against the Detroit Arts Council 40 years ago.
So there you have it. From the decaying buildings of 1980s Detroit to the classrooms and parks of modern-day New York City, it all connects. It's a single, unbroken mission that's all about empowerment and visibility.
You know, when you step back, this is way more than just one person's career. It's a really powerful case study. It shows us how you can hold on to a core purpose while constantly adapting your methods. It doesn't matter if the tool is a camera and wheat paste or a generative AI and a hashtag. The goal is to use the technology of the day to serve a lasting humanitarian purpose.
DeCesare's story proves that a powerful mission doesn't have an expiration date, it just finds new tools. So the question isn't just what invisible stories exist out there in your community. It's what tools, a camera, a piece of code, a hashtag, maybe just a conversation, are already in your hands, just waiting to bring them into the light.